In this episode, 2 horror stories of animals attacking people. What happened and why? Find the answers in the video. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. Welcome to Wild Assault. Story 1. Theo has been a handler at a South African wildlife park for a number of years, and during that time, he has raised a lion named Junior ever since he was a cub. Junior was born along with 2 other siblings who later passed away from illness. He was the only one left who made the wildlife park management let a handler take care of him, and thus they got Theo to do the job. Growing a cub wasn't simple, but Theo relished each second he spent with Junior. Junior was playful and energetic as a cub, and sometimes Theo couldn't keep up. Junior was unique because he was a loving and caring cub at the same time. Theo and Junior's friendship brought more people to the wildlife park. Over time, thousands of locals and tourists visited the park to witness Theo playing and caring for the cub. Theo's bravery, his affection for the cub, and Junior's submission to his handler astounded them. Their relationship was so exceptional that it was covered by local newspapers, and celebrities and journalists visited them. Junior always had a smile on his face when someone came to see him. However, not every lion can see in other lions. When Junior was 4 years old, he started learning how to perform easy and fundamental tricks to impress guests. Other people were even more amazed when he also learned to completely obey Theo. Sadly, Junior attacked Theo when he was 6 years old while they were having a feeding session and broke his arm. After that, the handler was taken to a hospital for several months of care. To make sure he won't hurt anyone again, the lion was moved into a more private enclosure. Junior's handler was attacked, and word quickly spread that he had been moved to a different chamber. When Theo had fully recovered from his injury a few months later, the usual number of visitors to the park had decreased. Even though the lion had been hurt months earlier, he insisted on seeing Junior because he had missed the animal. He still wants to come back and work with him. Frightened of going unnoticed and being mauled by the lion, a guard carrying a rifle was with Theo in case the lion didn't recognize him and charged him as he entered the enclosure. He inhales deeply and looks over to see Junior sitting quietly and observing him. Even though Theo secretly feels very anxious about Junior's reaction to finally seeing him after such a long time, he opens his arms wide and smiles at the lion. Junior unexpectedly rushes and leaps toward Theo to cuddle with him. Theo was overjoyed to see Junior acknowledge him again after a long absence. As soon as Theo was about to leave the chamber, the 2 of them played together and performed tricks until it was time for him to say goodbye and leave the enclosure to rest. The moment Theo was about to exit the enclosure, something shocking and terrifying occurred. He was forced to fall to the ground face first when Junior ran back to him and pounced on him from behind. Theo attempted to push the lion away after becoming agitated and lying down on his back. Junior suddenly roared as he felt threatened by Theo's gesture rather than retreating. Theo screamed in agony as he started to pull his handler and bit him on the head. The guard who was with him immediately called for reinforcements before aiming his rifle at the lion. The lion no longer objects when Theo continues to call Junior's name. He continues to be attacked and pawed by Junior in the face, arms, shoulders, and upper body. Theo cries out for assistance and motions to the guard to quickly put Junior to sleep. Until other handlers showed up and were horrified by the situation, the guard hesitated. The guard was silently debating whether to kill the lion or risk his life by rescuing Theo from the lion with his bare hands because he was aware of Junior and Theo's special bond since Junior was a cub. The guard had already made the hardest decision he could have possibly imagined when Theo yells at him and orders him to put the lion down once more. Theo cries out in pain. After being attacked and realizing that his beloved animal friend would soon be killed by gunfire, Junior slowly fell on top of him after hearing a shot being fired. While Junior lay dead inside his enclosure, the other handlers from outside rushed to aid the critically injured Theo and carried him outside. They all sobbed when they realized that the lion they had always known as loving and caring had been quickly put down after successfully transporting Theo to the hospital. Unfortunately, Theo had to spend months in the hospital once more in order to recover from the brutal assault he received from Junior. Story 2. Young circus performer Carl works for a traveling show in Germany. He is fully aware of the public's concerns regarding the use of wild animals for entertainment. The only way he can continue to support himself while attending the university is by working at the circus, so he still wants to come. At a young age, Carl bravely performed alongside animals like monkeys, bears, and even lions. A fully grown lion who has been domesticated since the age of 1, Anton. Every show featured the lion as its star, and viewers were in awe of its propensity for obedience and trickery. Elias told the others that they had gone to a town to perform one day. Carl made the decision to train Anton for their upcoming show as the other members of the troupe began to practice and train their animals. Before beginning the training, he makes sure Anton is well fed and in good health to avoid any mishaps or attacks. Following the training, the group traveled to the location of their performance in order to draw crowds and get the show underway as soon as possible. All ages of spectators entered the circus tent to view the performances. While performing with the group, he suddenly felt saddened about Anton's condition and wished quietly that he could find a real job outside the circus so the lion wouldn't have to perform tricks. When it was time for the main event, Carl inhaled deeply and entered the arena before Elias uncaged Anton. The audience gasped in surprise as a fully grown lion entered the stage with Carl and applauded them before their performance began. Ted is sitting with a dog's head as Carl walks up to Anton while grinning at the audience. Carl and Anton then begin performing simple tricks together. The crowd goes wild and clamors to see more of the grand final whenever Anton pulls off one of his schemes. Anton had to jump through a huge hoop that Carl had brought out. Anton is instructed to run and hop through the large hoop by Carl, who is holding it with 2 hands. Once more, astounded onlookers watched as Anton ran and leaped through the ring. Things take a sharp turn as Carl tells Anton to attempt the hoop again. Instead of jumping through the hopes as Anton started to run, the ball jumped right to Carl and tackled him to the stage floor. The audience gasped as they witnessed the lion growl and charge, and some got up to leave the circus tent. As they look for a way to save Carl from Anton's attack, the other troupe members and Carl Elias are taken aback. Carl screamed in agony as the lion bit his head and repeatedly pulled his face, causing him to bleed. The crowd fled the circus tent in a panic and went outside to make a call for assistance. However, even as Elias beat Anton with his whip, the lion continued to viciously attack Carl. Carl was severely hurt as Anton continued to paw his face and chest and sobbed in agony. Before the lion flees and returns to its cage, Elias repeatedly approaches Anton and whips it. Before sending Carl to a hospital for treatment, Elias and the other members of the troupe assisted in carrying him to the ambulance. Following the assault, Carl lost consciousness while suffering from severe wounds. When the news reached the authorities, all of the wild animals in the circus troupe found refuge at the conservation center, especially Anton.